Hey everyone, welcome in. Today we're going to be talking about Cancer season and the different rituals that align really well with the energy of Cancer season, and we're going to be doing this by exploring Cancer through the archetype of the Chariot tarot card. So if you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, good to see you. So I was pretty surprised to learn that the tarot card for Cancer was the Chariot. I learned this years ago, and it kind of threw me off my rocker a little bit because as a Cancer, I'm used to seeing the pop astrology interpretation of Cancer energy, which is emotional and sensitive, kind of reclusive and, domestic, things like that. And in contrast to that, we've got the Chariot tarot card, which is all about forward momentum. It's kind of like the green light in the tarot deck to take your goals and go for it, move forward, take action. And the Chariot itself as a symbol is, it's a symbol of war. It's a symbol of conquest. It's about journeys and being protected on our journeys and moving to our goals in like the most efficient way. Right? So those two things kind of seem like they're very different from each other, but they are more similar than you would think. And when we understand one, we understand the other, and vice versa. And then we get a really good idea of what the energy is like during Cancer season, and then how we can align our spiritual practice with that flow of energy to weave our own fate, flow with the flow of fate instead of working against the current, right? Okay, so my tablet stopped working also, so if you see me over here trying to read things, it's because I have a very small screen on my phone that I'm trying to do that with. Alright, so let's talk about Cancer a little bit. So Cancer's ruled by the moon. We're the OG moon child, and that's not to say that we won't, share that that title with anybody else. We definitely will, because we're really all moon children. We get to look at the moon, the same moon every night, right? So Cancer being ruled by the moon is very intuitive. The moon is all about intuition and vision and dreams, the subconscious. And I would say Cancer, because the moon is also connected to emotions, and Cancer's kind of known for being very connected to emotions and feeling emotions deeply. Cancer is good for empathic intuition. So empathic intuition is at a height during Cancer season. And whether, a certain Cancer displays emotions outwardly or not, Cancer energy being ruled by the moon is just very much connected to that energy, and you might find that you are more connected to your emotional self during Cancer season as well. It could be that you are feeling things more deeply, or you're noticing your feelings a lot more. That's definitely Cancer energy. That's the power of the moon's influence. So one way to work with the energies of Cancer season is to do rituals that align with the moon, whether that's working with the moon phases. I have an app in my phone that is a moon phase tracker. It also tells me what sign the moon is in. The moon changes signs like every 3 days or so. So you might look at that. You might look at getting something like that, and then you can kind of see what the current energy is as far as the moon goes. You could also do things that are sort of centered around the moon, whether that's moonlight yoga, or whether that is working with the moon's energy to manifest. So definitely play with that and see what you're led to do there. The moon and Cancer are also connected to the element of water. So another way to work with the flow of energy in Cancer season is to do rituals, spell work, meditation, whatever your practice is centered around the element of water. So some ways to do this would be taking spiritual baths, spiritual showers, listening to the sound of water while you meditate. There's rain sound, there's ocean waves, there's river flows, waterfall sounds. All of that is really good for Cancer season. And it's also good for divination practices, whether that is something like tarot, but specifically divination that is associated with water, maybe something like scrying with water, that would be excellent for Cancer season as well. So, connecting to the Chariot energy now. So, the Chariot is all about movement, right? But it's not just any kind of movement with the Chariot. Cancer energy, right? So it's intuitive movement or even like spiritually guided movement. Cancer is very intuitive and they kind of move in their own way. And the Chariot isn't just about like, you know, moving through obstacles and like running everything over and just getting to where you want to get. The Chariot is sort of more about the ebb and flow of moving towards goals, moving towards destinations, moving through the journey of life. It's not always going to be like a huge waterfall rush. Sometimes it'll be a little bit softer. Cancer is the crab, right? So there is sort of this retreating element with Cancer energy and with the Chariot. So it's about knowing when to move and how to move, knowing when to take time to rest and do some self-care, and knowing when to take action. That's definitely Chariot energy. So very small screen, very small screen. So let's talk a little bit more about movement when it comes to Cancer. So Cancer is the crab, right? And the crab walking sideways is how they move the fastest. That's just sort of how their anatomy is, and that's why they do it. For pretty much every other animal, this is weird. They're not going to move like that. And so that kind of movement really only makes sense for the crab, and thus Cancer's movement and the way they choose to take action in the world, it may not make sense to anybody else. And so, but they do what they do the way that they do it, right? And they're able to move in ways that are sort of unpredictable, but in a way that is aligned. So that's Cancer season energy. If you want to tap into that energy, then definitely hone in on your intuition. Trust that gut feeling and move in ways that make sense to you. Doesn't matter if it makes sense to everybody else. Doesn't matter if it doesn't work for everyone else. So instead of maybe seeing what someone else is doing over here or this person, definitely focus on the ebb and flow of your own inner balance, your own inner harmony, the ebb and flow of your own energy. Connect to that and then line up your spiritual practice, your daily actions with how you're feeling in terms of the own ebb and flow of your inner energy. Okay, so rituals for movement. So these include something like road opening work, which that was a video request. I do remember that. That is something that is going to be done during Cancer season. I just kind of have to figure out how to do it on here. Another one is energetic movement. So something like yoga is energy movement. The asana practice moves energy all throughout the body, all over the aura. Also chakra work, all of these things are connected to flow and movement and energy work. All right, so Cancer is also associated with the home. The moon also rules the home. And that's kind of why Cancer gets that domestic sort of attribute on it because of the moon. So it's a good time during Cancer season to bless the energy of your home, do a house blessing, to cleanse the energy of your home, and to ward the energy of your home. Some home protection, energetic protection, that kind of thing. Cancer being the crab, they're surrounded by that shell. And for some, the shell, it is the crab's home, right? And so that's sort of this armor that the Chariot card also has. So the Chariot also moves through different points and then they're protected. It's an element of protection as the Chariot moves forward. So when you get that card in your tarot readings, not only are you being encouraged to move forward, but also know that you're going to be guided and protected along the way. All right, so Cancer also being the mother of the zodiac, very protective. And hell hath no fury, like a mother protecting her home and her own. So do tap into that. If that's something you've been feeling guided to do lately, definitely do it during this time because the energy is good for it. It's also a good time to do energetic protection work for yourself, because when our energy is protected, then we can protect other things. It's sort of like putting on your own air mask first before you help others, putting on your own life vest, whatever the metaphor is there, and then moving on to other areas and doing the same thing there. When we're energetically protected as well, we can also do some more intuitive or divination practices, and those practices are going to be more effective when we are energetically protected, because energetic protection will ground our energy and allow us to tap into intuition, and without confusing it as much with our own fears, with our own worries, or with other people's energy and other irrelevant things in the astral ethers that might kind of come in. When we've got those energy boundaries up, then we can tap into what we're looking for, what we need to know for ourselves, and then the other noise kind of fades, and then we can feel grounded as we receive those messages, no matter what those messages are. So dreams can also be more vivid during Cancer season. So if you do not have a dream journal, I highly recommend that. When I work with clients and I do spiritual coaching and they want to develop their intuition, that's pretty much Intuition School 101 for me, is recommending a dream journal, because dreams is how your intuition will speak to you. Dreams are the language of your intuition. And so if you don't dream, then set an intention before you go to sleep to remember your dreams, because more than likely you are dreaming. It's just not something that your conscious mind is retaining when you wake up. So play with that, play with your intention there. Another way to work with Cancer psychic energy is to do meditations for the third eye, working with tarot, as I mentioned before, but also trusting your own inner sense of intuition as you move through the world. And I have created a special ritual blend just for Cancer season. And for the Chariot tarot card. So I use astrological timing with all my ritual blends, but especially for the different tarot cards, so that I can capture that energy in a bottle, and then that energy can be harnessed any time of year through ritual work. So I have a ritual oil for that, and also a candle that's going to be released. If you're interested in that and playing with that, there will be a link down in the comments below for that will be for pre-order. All right, everyone, that is all I have for you today. I'm wishing you a blessed Cancer season, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.